We have a new edition of the Odds and End Zones podcast on BGN Radio. This is our 10th episode. We are somehow, some way, still on the air. I'm Shamus Clancy, and I'm joined, as always, by my boy Zo. Zo, what's up?
What's up, bro?
Happy Good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, man. Good Thanksgiving. Ate a lot. Slept a lot. I can't believe it's December 1st. Yeah, we're already staring down the barrel of Christmas trees and stuff like that. My favorite time of year, though. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday.
I love Christmas too.
My favorite season. So I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a little weird this year because we are gonna have chock full of relevant football, at least maybe not on this end, but at least in the rest of the football world, and a bunch of hot things going on in the NBA and the rest of the NFL. So it's always a fun and then busy season, but you got to slow down and appreciate it a little bit.
Huge college football Saturday coming up.
Oh, rivalry week.
Let me look through the schedule too.
Yeah, check the schedule. It's a fun week, man.
It's a gauntlet on South. Well, Friday you got Pac-10 Championship Friday.
Yep.
Saturday going in order by time. You got Baylor, Oklahoma State, Big 12 Championship. OK State wins, maybe they're in the playoff.
Yep.
Georgia, Alabama, game of the day, obviously.
Probably the game of the year, to be honest.
Game of the year, yeah. Do you think we're going to get 3 Georgia, Alabama games?
I think we are, yeah.
Do you think if Alabama loses, do you think they're out? I think they kind of have to. I think they'll still make it. I don't think they should.
Yeah. So, I was talking about this off air, but yeah, I think that if they lose, where they always get the benefit of the doubt is they lose so close to everything else. Whereas anybody else, if Cincinnati loses this weekend, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, see, we told you so." Like Cincinnati's out, but like Bama loses, it's like, "Yo, they lost to maybe one of the greatest defenses we'll ever see." Like they should still be in. So it's a ton of bias, and it's really just a matter of how people see this Bama team. Like this isn't one of the more historically great Bama teams. Like they're good.
This would be a historic season for 99% of teams, but just
pretty much. Yeah.
About.
I think that the voters are going to be hard pressed to keep them out, even if they do lose. It probably depends on how they lose. It gets into that quality loss type thing, which is really just a bunch of crap to me. Like a loss is a loss. Like it doesn't matter.
Yes.
If you lose by 3 points, if you lose by 3 touchdowns, it's still lost.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing. So then at 4:00, this is obviously East Coast time. Houston, Cincy. Houston, not bad. They're ranked 21st, 11th, and 1. So Cincinnati could get a game there.
Yeah.
And then Michigan, Iowa at 8 p.m. I caught most of the Michigan game. I was away for Thanksgiving. That's why there was no odds and end zones last week. There was no from the bleachers. Went out to Arizona to visit the in-laws for Thanksgiving. And there couldn't have been a worse week to miss a set of podcasts. Coming off a 2-game winning streak. I would have been so cocky and so loud. And the Lord wouldn't let me do that. I thought I was going to come back this week and be even more insane. But I'm insane in a very different way. I recorded from the bleachers. We're recording this Wednesday afternoon, recorded from the bleachers yesterday. It dropped this morning on your podcast platform of choice, so check it out there. But got screwed. But I did watch. I was at the airport bar on Saturday. We flew out Tuesday.
Okay.
Flew back Saturday. We got to the airport early. Went to a little. I guess it's a brewery in the Arizona area. I think the brewery. We flew out of Phoenix. The brewery, I think, is based in Tempe.
Okay.
Four Peaks Brewing had a lot of nice beers in there. I watched, I would say...
That's a big airport.
It's a very big airport. Watched like 3/4 of the Michigan-Ohio State game. It was pretty fun.
Michigan is they're a dark horse. I would say I say dark horse because you're never quite sure if they can store enough points. They have a good defense. They
Aiden Hutchinson, the next Bosa brother.
He is he's everything as advertised. Aiden Hutchinson is so good, man. He comes off the ball and he just literally bowls you over. Ohio State has a 6'8", like 300-pound guard, And I mean, Aiden Hudson just treated him like he was a rag doll on one play. But they're they're clicking at the right time to use a term that we always use in sports. They looked really good against Ohio State. Typically, that's a game that they lose.
That's the first time they won since 2011, I believe. First
Uh-huh.
Harbaugh win.
Yep, in 10 years, first time he's ever beat Ohio State. So it's big, man. They are. I would not look past Iowa though. Iowa's a good team,
No, man.
and they have a really another team with a really good defense. They
Game's in Indy, right?
yeah, yeah. So it's a really fun weekend, and this is the weekend where it's not gonna be about quality wins or quality losses. It's just gonna be about did you survive in advance. So if you win your conference, like that's that. The question's answered. So did you win the SEC? Did you win the Big Ten? So on and so forth. That Pac-10 game is going to be fun. It's going to be high scoring. Most Pac-10 games are, but it's going to be that game's going to be a lot of fun. So it's definitely my sleeper for folks who want to the casual college football fan who wants to just tune in for some good games this weekend. Friday night, if you're up to it, the Pac-10 game is going to be really fun.
I wouldn't mind seeing Bama lose, and just to have some sense of parity, because you're never really going to have this again in college football.
No,
Unless they do like a bigger expansion. If it was Georgia, Michigan, Cincy, or Oklahoma State, I think that would be a little fun flavor.
I think they're really looking at expansion for maybe even next year. The biggest reasons, as all the big reasons are, is revolves around money. So
they need Notre Dame on TV. That's why.
Well, that's the other part. Right? So like you know, Notre Dame on TV. You need
as an Irish Catholic guy from South Philly who grew up a Notre Dame fan, I say that. I'm not really a fan now. I guess I like my dad still is pretty into it, but not as into it as because I'm not into it the way I was as a kid. But I assumed that was going to go there, and I actually did get in. Obviously, I'm wearing the Penn Relays hat instead, so you know where my decision led me. So I wasn't as big of a fan now, and it's kind of it's like being a Cowboys fan in a way. So I kind of skirted away from it, but I would like to see them somehow make it now, just despite Brian Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So I saw a video where their strength and conditioning coach was talking to them. He was just like,
that was cool.
Yeah, he was like, I know you guys are upset and you should be upset, but the most dangerous team is an angry team. I think there's something there. I think that they are, banding together to, as one last kind of, screw you to your coach that kind of left you in the middle of the night is actually it's commendable, and I think there is some motivation there. So we'll see how they look. That's very funny. It'll be funny if they ran the table for the rest of the year.
They would need, I guess, 2 out of these 3 things. They would need either Cincinnati to lose, Bama to lose and get knocked out completely, and then maybe Oklahoma State lose. They need 2 of those 3 things, right?
Yeah. So if you're a true Notre Dame fan, Saturday you're a huge Houston.
I want to be in South Philly for the game because we're going to my family. It'll be me, my parents, my uncle Pat, Andrea, Ashley, my boy Anzer. Will be going to the Jets game. We're going on one of those little trips, the little bus trip. Leaves Jets at 7 a.m. So we'll stay over in South Philly on Saturday. So I'll be in South Philly. I think I might have to put my Notre Dame hat on for that.
My aunt and uncle did one for the Falcons game
this year.
Yeah,
you were telling me that before. Yeah.
They're a ton of fun. And my uncle did one for the Raiders. Those trips are fun, man.
Everything was fun about the game in Vegas.
Everything. That's typically how this year is going, unfortunately.
Yeah. But do you want to talk about Sunday?
Yeah.
Not really, but sure.
Not really, but sure.
We saw that Jalen Hurts. This came out right before we started recording. That Jalen Hurts will in fact play on Sunday against the Jets in the Meadowlands. Eagles trying not to lose back-to-back games in the Meadowlands. They might have to be contracted as a team if they lose back-to-back games in the Meadowlands. And Nick Sirianni had said on Monday, Hurts had gotten banged up on Sunday. It seemed like he had a sore ankle.
Yeah.
Did take some hits on Sunday, more than you would like to see. Obviously, that's going to be part of the equation when you have a quarterback whose game is predicated on running the ball, using his legs, and more of a power style runner than a pure speed guy in your Lamar and Vic mold, more in a Cam Newton mold that way. So he's going to get banged up a little bit more. But there will be no Minshew mania on Sunday at the Meadowlands. Obviously, the best case scenario is that Hurts plays and plays well and can kind of solidify himself, have the Eagles go on this playoff run, be the quarterback at least for 2022. But there was part of me that was just like, it would be outrageous if I planned this trip a month in advance and somehow I'm going to see Gardner Minshew make his first career start for the Eagles, and he does this, insane throws for 300 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Eagles win by 3 scores. If he was gonna go and play, if we knew Hurts wasn't playing, I was gonna wear my Hurts jersey this week.
Yeah,
I think that's out the cards right now. I think we need to let that breathe a little bit. Ash and I bought her a Hurts number 2 jersey. I think I might have mentioned this pod last season before the Cardinals game, and I went to the pro shop and got it customized and all. And then I bought the number 2 jersey this offseason when he changed his number and went on discount. So it's like maybe we'll wear the Hurts jerseys. I don't think that's the case now. I'll see what she's going to wear. Hasn't arrived yet. I think it's arriving tomorrow. I bought on eBay a white Wilson Brands Bobby Taylor jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Notre Dame guy. So obviously,
Notre Dame guy.
No, he's a Notre Dame guy. So I think that'll be the move on Sunday to kind of change up some mojo. I love the white jerseys. I always have. They're my favorite for the Birds. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to do Hurts. I do Hurts jerseys during the week if I hit the gym real quick, or I'm just sitting around the house. I have the Eagles, Bama, Sooners one. When I wore the Bama one out in Arizona at Topgolf, I'm wearing the Bama shirt, and he was like, Crimson Tide sting. I was like, I really don't care about any college football. Bro, I couldn't care less.
I don't care, dude. Like, why are you even talking to me right now?
The guy next to us was wearing a North Dakota quarter zip. And at first, Ashley pointed it out. We thought it was just University of North Dakota. It wasn't North Dakota State. But how hilarious would that have been? Because if he's wearing North Dakota State and I'm wearing a Bama Hurts jersey in my tie-dye Vans. Have you ever done Topgolf? That was my first time doing it.
I've done it once, the one in Mount Laurel.
You're not a golfer, are you?
I'm not a golfer. Actually, before
nor am I. I've never golfed around in my life. So
pre-pandemic, I was supposed to link up with Swaggy. Him and I are supposed to do.
He's a big golfer.
Yeah, we're supposed to go out because I told him I wanted to learn and stuff, and that literally was the last time we talked about it was pre-pandemic. So I gotta link back up with Swaggy and
when you got the kids, that's a nice 4 hours out, right?
It's the other part, right? So like that's a nice 4-hour chunk out of the day. So it'll definitely have to be a Saturday or Sunday or whatever. But I went
that
to
whole crew golfs.
Yeah, so like that's
for me. Really.
He shouted. When he told me about it, he was like, "Yeah, that whole squad golfs," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm way less advanced than this crew right here." But it'll still be
just
fun.
Go crush Topgolf together. That should be if things clear up, maybe a BGN event next year. Next offseason, like spring. Go to Topgolf like the week after the NFL draft or something on the Saturday.
That would be a lot of fun.
That'd be dope.
I went under the guise of a bachelor party. My buddy, he was just like, "Yo, we're doing to start the weekend off." He was like, "We're doing Topgolf." It was a lot of fun. I was just slamming, hammering balls into the open Mount Laurel, New Jersey night. Matt Stair style.
Jones rips one into the night.
It was a lot of fun. I would definitely go again. I'm waiting for the one in the Northeast to open up. Maybe
that's not open yet, right? It's supposed to open soon.
Maybe our correspondent, the Finkster, can
the Hoagie King of the East.
Right, the Hoagie King of the East, Sausage King of Chicago. Maybe he can let us know when that bad boy's opening. I heard last I heard was they were shooting for this summer.
Okay.
It's gonna be mad. It's gonna be madhouse though. Topgolf is so fun.
And from the center city, Mount Laurel is almost equidistant anyway. So
Yeah, I was
we
just
could
going to say,
up there.
if you drive, I mean, if you drive anywhere, like Mount Laurel is kind of equidistant. Like if you've ever been to Cherry Hill Mall, it's not that much further away.
I lived at that House of Hoops in high school.
Say it's
Which
probably
borrow my mom's car because we were talking about Mitchell Ness. I would just get my check as a waiter or a busboy and spend it at Mitchell Ness, or I would drive to borrow my mom's SUV and drive to House of Hoops over there. I got a pair of. This is before the bots and all that nonsense. Where like 2 or 3 weeks later, you could just walk into a store and they had like a new pair of retro Jordans, not just the the kids basketball Jordans, like the legit retro ones. Got a pair of USA 5s that are bought literally, I think, December 2011. They're 10 years old, still wore them.
So I know people talk about the one at KOP is like the official one. Like they have they get all the events, like all the stars and all that stuff there. But the one in Jersey, I would not sleep on that one. I found some gems at the Cherry Hill Mall one, only because people only go to the KOP one. Like it's just as it's even a shorter drive, to be honest, depending on where you're coming from. But that one's always
shorter drive for me.
Right. Like if you're in the city, it's actually a much shorter drive, to be honest.
I got a pair of this is I guess when Hyper Dunks were still big because they'd come out with the new edition every year. They don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
This is like 2010, 11, 12. And they had a bunch of player edition ones.
Yep.
So I got a pair of Blake Hyper Dunks there with the BG logo, Clippers color 32 on the side. I balled them all senior year of high school.
Remember,
not on an actual basketball team. Obviously, I don't want to give people the wrong idea. We're just effing around with my boys.
Do you remember the Nike ID website where you can make your own? Like you could.
I have a pair of KDs, KD4s.
Yep.
Keep talking. I'm gonna pull them up. You can check it out on YouTube. I'm gonna show them off. Little sneaker unboxing.
I remember the KD4s, the Hyper Dunks. I used to go on there. This is how much of a loser I am. I used to go on the Nike ID website all the time and design my own pair of Hyper Dunks. Which is kind of like, which is probably the most annoying / like worst thing to do as a shopper because you can sit there and just look at them the whole time.
Oh my god, that's terrible.
I had my Hyper Dunks with the Zo on the side, like my favorite number or whatever it was. But I was just like, man, one day I'm going to order these. And then eventually it got to the point where I actually could order them. I didn't want them anymore. That's how life works. Oh, yeah. Oh, the Oregon Duck.
I got them Sonics colors since they were the KDs.
Yeah.
And it was an era I'd rock a lot of Mitchell Ness Sonic stuff like that. So I thought those were dope. This KD4s were the biggest like steal. I wish they were 90 retail, and then I think only 120 on ID when you were still paying like 160, 170 for a new pair of retro Jordans. And got on inside written Moneyball. It's got the A's colors. Little sabermetrics nerd bought them.
I wish he still made his kits in Sonics colors. At least I know he has the Aunt Pearls every year, which I
love the Aunt Pearls, man.
And then he has, sometimes they do Nets colors, but I wish he still did Sonics colors. There's something about Sonics colors. I know.
I love green and yellow. I think the Packers have great uniforms.
Yep.
I love the Sonics. I think that the A's have the best uniforms in baseball.
The uniform's so good. Yeah. I love it.
It's just a good combo, man. I had a North Dakota State hat, and then I threw it out when I moved. I told the story a bunch. I have a Wentz North Dakota State jersey, like an actual Nike one, not AliExpress. Wore it once. The Eagles. I wore it on the day 2 of the 2020 NFL draft. They selected Jalen Hurts, and then that was the last day I wore it. I spent $100. Wore it just once.
That's a good time to say bye-bye.
Yeah, that was an event era. What do you think Sunday? They got to win, right?
They got to win.
Boys in the group chat were a little antsy on Sunday morning, even a little more so than usual. And besides, the overtly negative guys usually that and I'm an optimist too. If they're good, I'm jumping on the bandwagon. If they're not, our pets' heads are falling off or whatever. So I'm vibing, I'm feeling good. And they're like, it just seems like the game where they're supposed to win. They got the hype and, it kind of falls flat. But I think this is the inverse where, Hurts is horrible and he played absolutely atrocious on Sunday. And this or that and everything. And they play and they win by, 13, 14, 17 comfortably.
I think they'll come out. They're a prideful bunch.
They are. I think Sirianni. I mean, I've been more than critical of him in the past, but I think he does get them to play well, play hard. Even in the games they've lost this year. I'm not I try really hard not to be a moral victory guy, but they only had one really bad loss that they weren't in it.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely a prideful bunch, and they'll play hard. The Jets, for all intents and purposes, they're a floundering team. I mean, their defense sometimes shows up. The games that they won, their defense has showed up. But that stadium on Sunday is going to be 80% Eagles fans, and
I'm going.
I really think So it's weird because you don't want to keep talking playoffs because the way that this team played on Sunday, it's like
they don't deserve to be a playoff team. They might be because the conference absolutely stinks, but they don't deserve it.
They certainly don't deserve it. So I would think less playoffs and just think more. Just go out and be prideful and kind of just show a little bit of heart. I can't, but I respect the guys for being for how they felt because that really was a bad game. Like we've said what's going to be said, but man, I still can't believe the offensive performance in a game like that. I've yet to see a more pedestrian looking quarterback or coach performance. And what sucks about it is you don't for 3 weeks we were like we found the guy. It
was a fun 3 weeks.
It's so easy to just have the guy in house. Like this translates to a lot of my basketball takes too. It's so easy to already have the guy in house because all you got to do is focus your assets on just building around him, right? Yeah. Like now that you pretty certain that you don't or like you need another year to find out she's the guy, it kind of puts you at a stalemate because like what do you go and you spend 2 of those first round picks on Russell Wilson or like do you just say we're going to put out the best possible product we can with Jalen next year. If Jalen loses the job in the middle of the season, he's not the guy, and then we gotta work on finding a starting quarterback. Like it's so much more painstaking to not have the guy in house. I think that they're still, regardless of what they said last Sunday before that game, I still don't think that they're all in that building 100%.
Yeah, it was crazy. We finally got a couple leaks that the Eagles were considering building around him long term, and then he turns that in. I hate Carson Wentz. Last season was the most. It was just insane watching him play football.
Yeah,
I love Hurts. The thing I keep saying, I don't know if Hurts is the guy, but he's the man because he's just fun to watch play. He's a good dude.
Yes,
and that interception, his second interception at the end of the first half, rivaled anything that Wentz did last year in terms of bonehead moves. Like, what the F are you doing? Are you an effing idiot move?
Yeah, because I think that it's one of those things where I think in some forms of fashion you get even more upset because you actually do like Jalen Hurts as a
yes.
And like we've been pulling so very hard for him. His teammates absolutely love him. There's no dissension in the locker room. Like there's no reports from our guy Joe S saying that the locker room is 50% Wentz, 50% not Wentz. They all love him. They all go to bat for him, and they all look at him as a leader. And so, and sometimes when he does this stuff like Sunday, it hurts even more because you really, really want him to be the guy. You're so ready to commit to him, as a fan and as a follower, that stuff like that just it pains you to see because it just means that there's so much more to evaluate, and he legit might not be, who can get us over the hump.
Yeah. I was wondering, and it's not this way, but it was just more of the conspiracy theory, reeling after a cratering loss. When the stuff came out Monday, again, we're recording this Wednesday, that Hurts, Sirianni says he's hopeful that he'll play on Sunday. Maybe that was gamesmanship, whatever. I was just nervous. We were in maybe stealth bench territory.
Yeah.
The way that, Carson Wentz was injured towards the end of the 2018 season. He was certainly injured, but they were probably like, dude, just hit the showers. We're going to roll with this guy. Let's keep
a little sneak tank like they do in the NBA.
Yeah, or just, hey, we do have a chance at the postseason. We want to make sure Devontae Smith can develop. If we'll bench you this week, we're going to say you're a little banged up, and maybe you are, and maybe if you're a run first quarterback and you have a banged up ankle, maybe you shouldn't be out there. I'm sure he's fine. No doubt Hurts gives him a better chance to win. But I was wondering if the team was maybe like, I'm so infuriated right now. Sit out this week. Let's just throw Minshew out there, see what we have real quick. And if not, we can regroup after the bye or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not that I want that to happen. Not that that's what anyone on the team's plan was. That's where just my head went, being a conspiracy theorist, when the news came out Monday about him dealing with that sore ankle.
I'm sure there was some rumblings after that.
Sirianni has to be PO'd, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, just watching that is – he didn't have a good game himself, certainly. But, I wrote in my newsletter on Monday that Hurts put in an all-time dog crap performance, and all I can think about is Jalen Reagor. But the onus of the losses rests mostly on Hurts' shoulders, I would say, even though Jalen Reagor is the more maligned Jalen and Eagles fandom right now, certainly.
And it's crazy because it's just a culmination of not having enough talent on the team. And, if like that's a catch you got to make, that's not necessarily a talent thing. But like it's hard to also look at that and say, would Justin Jefferson had dropped either one of those passes? The answer is no. And then other people have said, which I also agree with, that if it wasn't for 2 red zone interceptions, they aren't even in that position. You know what I mean? So
I don't disagree. Yeah,
they just have.
If you flip when they happened, do you know what I mean?
Right.
You flip when they happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Then the pitchforks are out for Hurts instead of Reagor.
Right. And so it's been that kind of season, though. Like we go back to this again and again, but a bad team is going to show you why they're bad, and they're just showing you why they're a bad team. Like they're showing you why they're inconsistent, why they're a bad team. The defense did what they could last week, but
they played well enough.
Yeah, they played well enough, and like the other part of that is they're also an inconsistent group, and that's more so just related to their personnel. They haven't had a linebacker for 6 or 7 years, it feels like, and there's guys on their front line who
just when Davion Taylor was flashing a little bit too, he goes in the shorts.
He was seeing like to Davion too, man. Knee injuries are never a good thing. You hate the guy having to experience that. And shout out to Jason Kelsey as well for
Warrior, just playing in the best football of his career at 34.
Willis Reed like performance, like literally dragging his leg the whole time, man. And I would not begrudge him, and I would not be upset if this was his last year. He totally earned it,
No, man.
To be able to
this year in a way. I'm surprised.
Right. He should have came back this year, dude. Like if he would have said he's walking away and going to go chill in Havertown for the rest of his life, I would have been cool with that too. So, but
go bartend in Sea Isle all summer.
Yeah, just live your life, man. Just be like the ultimate local guy. Him and Chris Long just kind of chilling down in Center City, high-fiving everybody. Like that's the life he's gonna live. And it's great. He'll never pay for a drink in the city again. Like you said,
green tea shots.
Yeah, like green tea shots. But yeah, I think Sunday's gonna be. If you are a purist football fan, it's not going to be the best game.
If you're not an Eagles fan nor a Jets fan, there is absolutely zero reason unless you've laid a large sum of money. And this is odds and end zones on the game itself. I'm looking at some the player props aren't out. Yeah, that's what you usually just talk about is the player props because they're more fun. We're just looking at some stuff on there. I like looking at the adjusted lines for the hell of it. This is a terrible odds. Eagles adjusted line minus 33.5.
Oh,
plus 1,300. What?
Yuck! And it's on.
So, I have $10 bonus money. I'm certainly not putting it on that.
I was gonna say I have a $10 bonus on.
Because I did $20. So last week, FanDuel, if you did $20 worth of same game parlays, or it moved up exponentially, but if you did $20 worth of same game parlays for football, you got $10 bonus money. You want me to cook up a little teaser right now? Live teaser on the pod. Yeah, why not? All right. Do we want New Orleans? I'm going to do a teaser.
Yeah, like
New Orleans. Throw New Orleans in it because they're plus 4.5, so they'd be plus 10.5 at home.
Plus 10.5 at home. I like that. Yep.
Okay. Taysom, my guy, Taysom Hill, never a doubt. I don't like I want to pick against the Colts, but I don't like the Texans plus 15. I don't even like them plus 15. I don't
like that money at all. That doesn't seem like good money.
I'll throw the birds on there because then it'll just be, plus or minus 0.5, kind of essentially a pick 'em. That's a 1 o'clock game. I was gonna say the Chargers are in Cincy. And they're plus 3. I'm like, plus 3, you get them a plus 9. But that is a 1 o'clock game in the East Coast time, I would believe. I mean, they're not the East Coast, but I don't know. Let me let's see. I like the Raiders. I think Washington is primed for a little bit of a setback right here.
Yeah, they've been playing well.
Raiders had one of the best ones of the season of any team.
Yeah, the Raiders played really good in that Thanksgiving game. They gave Dallas obviously all that and then some. They played good. They played tough, man. Their offense can put some points up, and their defense, they get stops, timely. Not all the time, but when they need it, they get stops. That was a really good win for them on Thanksgiving.
All right, so this is if I do a 6-point teaser, this is what I'm working with right now. Cowboys at Saints on Thursday. Saints from plus 4.5 to plus 10.5. I like that. Eagles from minus 6.5. They're minus 7 on DraftKings. So obviously, if you're doing this shop around, that's what we like to say. They are minus 6.5 on FanDuel currently. So I'd get them at minus 0.5, essentially pick them. Vegas from minus 2.5 to plus 3.5 at home against Washington. I like that. And then the Bills on here, they're playing Sunday night. Or is this game? It is Monday night, New England. So they're at home. Beat 3.5-point underdogs at home with the teaser. I like that. Plus 240. Can I throw the we might not be able to do the bonus on here.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Can't do it on the teaser. Well, I got to do something else now. What the hell?
I forgot about that. That's weird, though. It's weird. You can't. Well, they want to ensure, I guess, that you that whatever you win, you spend on them. So I get it.
Let's take Eagles. Eagles 10.5.
Yep.
Ben. All right, free money. Free money. I was so PO'd when Boston Scott had that touchdown run.
Oh, man.
And got called back. And because I was gassing him up all week with the the prop bets too, because I'm thinking he scores that touchdown and he was in position they could have possibly scored another touchdown.
Again. A lot of people
that fumble killed me that he did that. Yeah. That's such a Miles Sanders play that he had. Yeah. I was sick because he feels like my guy, and I gas him up. Oh man, I was so mad.
That was such a bow on what kind of day it was. That fumble was like even he shook his head. I'm just like, yep. Like some days some games kind of just
that's out of character for him.
Yeah, like that fumble told the tale. But I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see another fumble from him for a calendar year. It's just so out of character for a guy like that.
What's the deal with Miles Sanders?
Oh, I think I would be surprised if he's back here next year.
There's never been a better player who sucks.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm not trying to be mean. Like people get take stuff when people criticize regularly, like, oh, you're insulting him as a person. I have no idea who he is as a person. He has no idea who I am as a person.
Right.
I'm evaluating things strictly on the field. And Miles Sanders has the talent to be a top 10, top 15 back in this league. His stats are pretty good, but it just seems like, and this is going back for multiple years now, you've seen Jordan Howard and Boston Scott at different points in the last 3 years carry the Eagles to victory. And when he's not the guy doing that, whether he's missing the game entirely or mysteriously in the second half, he's not even playing and not out there.
He's hurt.
Or he's hurt now completely. And then you have Jordan Howard's corpse coming in looking like Jerome Bettis.
I think that he's fallen out of favor, unfortunately.
Does the staff not like him? Like, I always say there's a thing, a sports writer once told me when I was covering the Eagles, this is years and years ago in training camp. He's like, if any sport you wonder, why isn't this guy playing enough, regardless of position, sport, whatever, just either like he's, I don't want to say stupid, but just doesn't understand some of the concept they're putting in, or the coaches just don't like him for something.
Don't like him, yeah. Yeah, man. I really think it's
he seems like a nice guy in real life. There's nothing wrong with him as a person or anything. I don't want it to come off like that, but it's just there's something amiss when he's on the field.
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I think his teammates like him, but I just think that on the field he's lacking in. It might just be a confidence thing. Could just be he seems like a guy also who once he gets the ball, he's got to hit a home run. And
yeah, he's a launch angle in baseball. Yeah, he's launch angle in baseball.
He has to, I think, realize that every play is not going to be a 60-yard run. So take the 5, take the little 3 and then check down and kind of and matriculate the ball that way, and then set up the home run. That's what Howard did so well. That's why he's so good at it, because he's a patient. I think Miles has to be a more patient runner. I don't think he's sore for, and it might be another team that he does it on. Like he might need to go rehab his running game somewhere else. But
he goes on the Ravens, and it looks like he
goes on the Ravens.
Clinton Portis
he's second in the league in rushing. But I really just think that he just isn't a real patient runner right now. And it might just be related to the fact that he doesn't feel like he's going to get another shot at the ball after that carry. Another thing, like he is right now in a room where he's feeling a lot of pressure and where he isn't declared. He's kind of like number 3 on that chart there, So I can imagine that when he gets the ball, he's probably like, well, I either got to do something with it, or I'm probably not going to see it for another 26 plays, or whatever.
If you had to guess, where would you say Hurts ranks in the league in rushing yards?
In the league in rushing yards, I'd probably say 15th.
He's 11th. Going into last week, he was 8th.
That's crazy.
He was 8th going into last week.
I mean, and he was. It's tough because he's actually taken some pretty tough hits these past couple of weeks.
I'm wondering if he's hampered by that ankle.
Yeah. And
not only does that affect his passing ability, stepping into the ball. I don't know what ankle it is. Loading off that back foot, whatever it may be, it's just as important as any other part of his body in terms of being a functioning football player. And then when he's a guy who's makes his money, makes his name, makes his production as a bowling ball runner, that's nervous. That makes me nervous.
Yeah, because he's getting crushed.
He's getting crushed way too much. That's what I loved about Russell Wilson early in his career. Not a super fast guy. Ran the ball well, but he was great at not getting hit.
Yep, taking the. Well, he's a former baseball player, so the baseball slide, that stuff all comes with being a smart runner too. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy who he's lasted this long in his league and at that level he's played at because he was just smart about not taking contact. And I mean, and it's funny because he's also someone who has historically not played behind the greatest of offensive lines, and Jalen actually has, a pretty darn good offensive line to play behind. So I think that he's got to also, somebody's got to be in his ear about learning the baseball slide and learning when to hold them, when to fold them. It's cool to run for the extra yard, but at the behest of,
you need to get that 8 yards the next play. You got to make sure you get up for that.
Yeah, on 1st and 10, it's okay if you only get 5. Like you got 2 more downs to go.
Yeah, I think this offensive line is unbelievable. And I think Sirianni terribly mismanaged that in
Oh
the
yeah,
red zone at the end of the first half.
yeah,
Because this play, they line up empty set, shotgun at the 2 or 3 yard line.
2 or 3 yard line. Yeah, 100%.
Obviously, power run out of shotgun. That guy, he's got to be a QB sneak guy. Either you keep a running back in there to keep the read element available, whether you're handing it off to Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, whether Hurts is taking it on a QB keeper. Once you don't have that running back out there, he needs to be under center for that for me. Because, Landon Dickerson blocked well, Jordan Mailata blocked well, Jack Stoll, who unfortunately has
Our
played
guy.
pretty well this year, especially as a blocker, Jesuit guy. Miss Cass is an undrafted rookie second tight end on a team that's fighting for a playoff wild card berth. And he misses a block there, and that's why he doesn't get in, but it just wasn't the greatest call to begin with.
Right.
And then the next play, Hurts has Greg Ward, ball hits him in his hands, not the greatest ball of all time, a play that should be a touchdown. And that's another crazy butterfly effect, domino effect, whatever you want to say, was because in that end of the first half, an interception doesn't happen, and this, that, and everything. And that drive is what killed them the most to me, because they go down 3. They were down 3-0, going to half 3-0, getting the ball at the beginning of the third quarter, but beginning of the second half. And if they get 7 there, it's they win the game. And you could say that about a million moments. You can say about that every team in every game. But we're talking about the Eagles, and it's a crushing, cratering loss, and it's increasingly infuriating me as I talk about it.
And it's also stuff that hasn't been cleaned up. Sometimes you say, "Oh, they'll clean it up." Like it'll be fixed. They'll clean it up, such. But they haven't cleaned it up. It's still the same thing. They're still having the same exact issues. Yes. And it's still the same exact frustration when they get down there, and the same mismanagement of downs and of personnel. And so it's totally understandable for people to lose faith in kind of what play calling, and also in what's going to happen when you get down there. Like the Jets actually have a pretty okay red zone defense. So if they get down there and get fancy again on Sunday, I could totally see them coming away with nothing or just 3 points. And like when you come away with 3 points, it's real quickly, 3-0 turns into 7-3, and then 14-6. Next thing you know, you just lost to the Jets and the Giants in consecutive weeks. So I totally see the frustration.
They can't lose, man. They can't.
Yeah.
Doing any bets for Saturday?
I championship week is so weird for me because it isn't as fun, because I kind of either pick who you like or you don't like. But I think that early on I'm actually going to ride with Cincinnati. I believe in them. I'm going to ride with Bama. I'm sorry, I'm going to ride with Georgia, not Bama. And I like Michigan. I think I like Michigan on Saturday.
Michigan 10.5 point favorites.
I really like them. They got some swagger, dare I say, and I just think also there's been previous years where you felt like Georgia was a good enough team until they met Bama, but I think it's the opposite this year. I think Bama's a good enough team, and they run into a Georgia team that isn't scared, and and so it's hard to go against that confidence. And then I just think that, like I said, I believe in Cincy. Houston's really good, but I also believe that Cincy they continue to have a lot to prove, and it's not going to be any different this weekend. So those are my 3 that I'm riding with so far. I'm going to take a closer look, obviously, as we get closer to the weekend, but off the bat, those are going to be my 3.
Maybe do a little teaser on there, since I didn't do one. OK State, Georgia, Cincy, Michigan. I'm kind of feeling that right now.
Those are fun. College football teasers are fun.
Yeah, man. Gonna have a good Saturday. Pick up some ice cold Kenwood. There will be a. Well, I was supposed to talk to you about it today. I was talking to the Kenwood guy. The tailgate next Saturday, December 11th, Sixers Warriors on ABC, 8:30. Should be doing a little Kenwood centric tailgate for that. So keep update on that. We'll be talking about it. All right, for Liberty Ballers, my Sixers stuff on there too, obviously, libertyballers.com, part of the great SB Nation network. So check out Sixers stuff on there. Anything else? I need to win in the worst way. Because the worst thing that could happen is you not only just drop back-to-back games, you drop back-to-back games going into the bye week. Then you just have to, for the entire next week, you have to relive the fact they lost those back-to-back games.
And you're stewing. You spend the bye week
stewing. I'm already stewing. Imagine stewing for the next 2 weeks.
And then you come back out of the bye and you got Dallas and Washington.
You got 4 more divisional games.
Yeah.
You finished with 4 divisional games. Yeah.
So, like, you're just going to – it's just – they have to win. We need to win in the worst way. But that's it. That's how you – that's our cap here. We don't know nothing fancy. They need to win in the most way. And bet on some college football this weekend. College football.
Yeah, it's less stressful because I assume a lot of people don't have, quote unquote team in these Power 5 conferences the way everyone kind of has an NFL or an NBA team.
Yeah.
Because I'm more of a, I make the Notre Dame jokes and make fun of myself for that, but I'm mostly an agnostic college football fan, which is great for both gambling purposes and just like, oh my God, this game's awesome.
Like obviously I'm pulling for Georgia for our specific purposes, but I have no allegiance to any of these Power 5 teams. Like I'm totally I couldn't be any less stressed. I think it's actually so much more fun that way.
It's a nice palate cleanser for Sunday because Sunday's gonna be stressful, relaxed, have a couple cold ones, couple Kenny's on Saturday, threw a couple bets in responsibly. Don't bet anything you're not ready to lose. That was always my adage. Don't put money in there that you're not willing to not get back.
Right, because scared money does not win money. So you got to go into it ready to lose wherever you pony up. And remember, we are not affiliated with anyone. We're just
maybe one day we will see. But currently, we don't get any kickbacks from DK or FanDuel for doing
at least not yet. So we'll see.
Not yet. All right, wraps it up for me, bro. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
All right, guys, gals. Need a win in the worst way. Hopefully, we're getting a little more cocky from the bleachers and on this great Odds and End Zone podcast next week. Keep bleeding green.